Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, I'm going to be showcasing a powerful climbing team for the Open Great League. This team is actually going to be an adjusted version of a team that had a massive amount of success last season. Memichinflona was able to hit rank 1 in the world with Shadow Empoleon, Goodra, and Wigglytuff. Empoleon, of course, did get a nerf, so today I'm going to be trying it out with Shadow Kanto Marowak as the lead. Kanto Marowak plus Wigglytuff core performs extremely well. The main thing you have to watch for is going to be grass poisons, but so far in the meta, they have not been too common. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out the team in action. Hopping into the first match, leading Shadow Kanto Marowak into Ariados. Ariados has super effective Trailblaze. Trailblaze does not one-shot, but it does quite a lot of damage. Here, my opponent not only gets a lunge bait, but makes a beautiful catch onto Azumarill. And I'm off to a rough start in game number 1. My opponent is outplaying me so far. I send in Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff is going to be the primary answer for Azumarill on this team, and Wigglytuff is going to be running that updated move of Swift. Swift just gives Wigglytuff incredible pacing. Here, I'm intentionally not hitting all the bubbles. I'm going to undercharge, expecting them to knock me out here because I want farm on Goodra. This is going to be a double resisted farm down for the Goodra. Goodra is going to get the farm down, denying their Ice Beam. And Goodra up energy can put in quite a lot of work. In the back is going to be a Malamar, and I'm so happy that I have this energy on Goodra. Goodra will fire off the Aqua Tail, forcing the shield from the Malamar. Malamar, it doesn't matter what they throw, I can survive it. They go for the foul play. I'm going to be able to fire off the last second Aqua Tail, and then it's all up to Shadow Kanto Marowak to close out the game. It's a simultaneous switch, Marowak into the Ariados, and I'm going to let this go. I'm calling the lunge. It's the Trailblaze, but it does not KO. Shadow Kanto Marowak going to be able to get the full farm down here, and as long as one Psywave does not KO, this game will end in victory. In comes the Malamar. The Psywave comes through. I have back-to-back Bone Clubs. I am debuffed due to the lunge. Let's see, will this be able to knock out? The answer is yes. Shadow Kanto Marowak clutching in a massive way as we're able to take the win. Tough lead in the next match, Shadow Kwak leading into a low kicks. I save switch into Goodra, and my opponent responds with Azumarill. This is actually a playable matchup for the Goodra. Up energy, Goodra has the ability to flip. As we see, after landing a Thunder Punch, I've Dragon Breathed it below 50% HP. And I'm more than happy to either play out the 2s and win switch, or play out the 2s and lose switch. If I win switch, of course, I get Wigglytuff on low kicks, which is amazing. If I lose switch, though, I can Mud Slap down with the Shadow Kanto Marowak and have a Rock Slide ready to go for the low kicks. So either way, it's going to work out nicely for me. So I'm going to massively overfarm with the Goodra and fire off this Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch into the Azumarill is no shielded opponent chooses to take the shield advantage, and back in comes low kicks. Low kicks going to be hit with the Aqua Tail. They actually decide to shield, and that's incredibly good news for me. I don't make the Aqua Tail. Again, I really need to build a better Goodra. I've been using Goodra a ton this season, and not having PvP IVs has cost me a couple times. I'm going to look for the farm down in the back. It's, I was going to say Clodsire, but it's a Nidoqueen in the back. Opponent trying out a different poison ground type, but unfortunately for Nidoqueen, it's getting knocked out by the Shadow Kanto Marowak. Low kicks is going to be able to make a last second charge attack here. It's the Trailblaze, but Shadow Kwak hangs on and secures the win. We see a familiar lead in the next match, Shadow Kwak versus Ariados. Again, Ariados is a core breaker to this team, but the good news is Mud Slap still hits for neutral here, so I'm still able to output a ton of damage. I will shield up the move. I'm expecting them to shield, so I will go for the Bone Club bait. To me, this feels like a pretty safe bait. Opponent, of course, immediately calls the bait, makes it to a boosted Trailblaze, and I'm forced to go down 2 shields. This is incredibly bad. They aggressively pivot into Malamar. I bank a ton of energy, and Malamar save switch will be quickly dealt with thanks to Wigglytuff. If they superpower here, the Charm might KO. It's going to be really close. Oh my goodness. Fractional HP left on that Malamar as they make superpower number 2. If they bring in Ariados, Ariados might honestly get farmed down. It's very low. Ariados does get farmed down. In the back, it's Greninja, and I'm going to fire off the Swift. My opponent got their fast move denied there, so I actually stopped tapping just so a charm doesn't go through, because I shouldn't have gotten that charm. And now I bring in Goodra. They're probably going to Night Slash when they double up, so I switch into the Kanto Marowak, and I get the CMP sack swap, catching the Night Slash while CMP tying with the Bone Club. and that play instantly wins me this game. Greninja has no choice but to try and farm down, but Shadow Kanto Marowak is not going to let that happen. We simultaneously KO, but I still have a whole Goodra, so I win the game. We move to the next match, Shadow Kanto Marowak versus Malamar. Finally getting out of that stretch of some pretty terrible leads. Opponent actually cap-ties me there. I was very surprised. It's very risky to try and cap-tie a 3-turn move as a 1-turn move user. So I was expecting to be able to Bone Club and then dip, but my opponent had other ideas. Here I'm going to switch into the Goodra, attempt the snipe down with Dragon Breath, but Malamar, 1 HP, makes the superpower, but in comes Clodsire. This is really good for me. That's part of the Goodra save switch. It's good at luring out the stuff that Wigglytuff doesn't want to see, because Wigglytuff is hopefully going to be the star of the show as the sweeper. So ideally, we need to bait out Claude, and that's exactly what we're able to do. I could throw the Bone Club, but I think I have a better idea. I'm going to double shield the Marowak, farm all the way down, and just leave with way too much energy. I'm going to leave over 2 Bone Clubs of energy in the back. They have Feraligatr, and this game is over. The opponent just doesn't know it yet. I have to watch for a catch. There's the catch, but I wait the turn. I deny the catch, and now this game is over. I have back-to-back Bone Clubs. The moment one lands, I just switch into the Wigglytuff, and Wigglytuff is going to get a nice charm down, farm down. Shout out to Jamie Finn, as the Hydro Cannon will do a lot of damage, but it does not do enough, and we're able to get the win. Spice from the opponent in the next match. Oh my goodness, going up against Astonish Palossand. I have no clue what the counts are for Astonish Palossand, so I am a little bit in the dark here, but I'm going to safe switch into the Goodra. Goodra should be able to tank whatever they throw. Opponent will fire off a Shadow Ball, and that hits for massive damage. In comes Licky Licky. Licky Licky, a pretty scary Pokemon to see, because you have no idea what secondary charge move it's running. Licky Licky is going to get a full farm down, and now I'm going to bring in Wigglytuff. I don't care what they throw at me, I can survive no matter what. They're running Earthquake, and that deals substantial damage. Licky Licky could have potentially got a Body Slam off there, but instead tried to commit to the Earthquake in the back. It's going to be a Charge-a-Bug, and this game is looking quite good for me. I will go for the Icy Wind. I'm going to throw 2 and wait to try and catch. I was trying to catch the discharge onto the Kanto Marowak. I don't get the catch, but even without the catch, this game should still be a win. I can tank 1 since it's debuffed. I'm going to shield 1 and then just look for the farm down. This will force them out into the Palossand. Palossand is going to be forced to shield here if they want to keep it alive. And then this is just going to set up Wigglytuff. Astonish is a great fast move, but Wigglytuff, due to the normal subtyping, is double resisting it. So they basically do no damage to me. This means I can still survive that Volt Switch and barely hang on to charm down and take the win. Bad lead in the next match, Shadow Kwak versus Feraligatr. I save switch into the Goodra, and out comes Clodsire. A lot of people like bringing Clodsire into the Goodra save switch. Clodsire can tank an Aqua Tail, but this honestly works out great for me. I really like baiting this out, because they go for the Stone Edge, it does not KO. Even if they were able to pick up a knockout, I just get farm on Kwak, and farm on Kwak is so good. I'm able to grab a shield from the opponent. They're forced to throw because they can't poison this thing down. So out of this mid game, I've gotten shield advantage, and now I get an energy advantage on Kanto Marowak as well. Opponent is going to bring in Feraligatr and up energy. This is a strictly winning matchup for Kwak. I go for the Bone Club. That does so much damage. I'm a little worried about switch locking the Wigglytuff here. My opponent ends up giving me a free Mud Slap, but I could have got a farm down regardless. In the back, oh no, Trader, I'm so sorry. There's a Shadow Haunter. How many Mud Slaps does it take to get to the center of a Shadow Haunter? Oh, goodness gracious. That poor Haunter absolutely deleted. In comes Feraligatr. It gets farmed down as well, and we're able to take the win. Same leads as last game, so I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to be safe switching into the Goodra. Out comes Ferrothorn, and my goodness, I'm happy to bait this out. Ferrothorn would absolutely crush my Wigglytuff, so baiting this out is a must. Here's where having something like Draco Meteor would be very helpful, because Aqua Tail not going to do a whole lot of damage, and Thunder Punch does the same damage as Aqua Tail in this situation, but just costs more. I'm going to be firing off the Aqua Tail, trying to do as much damage as I can. Unfortunately, my opponent should be able to outpace in this matchup. They're going to fire off a Whip. It should not KO, though. It's very close, and I'm going to be able to make it to the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail, I'm hoping my opponent shields here. It'd honestly be great if they shielded, they let it go. They're barely able to save it. I could have saved Goodra and aggressively switched into the Wigglytuff, but considering Clodsire is a strong Pokemon this season, I'm not a big fan of switch locking Wigglytuff unless I happen to know their entire team. My opponent is going to make another Hydro. I will commit the shield, but this is honestly not looking amazing for me. I do get a farm down, which is quite nice. They still do have that Ferrothorn. It's going to come down to what they have in the back, and it's a Shadow Venusaur. I can deal with one grass type that resists Charm, but two on the same team, that's just not going to be a win, unfortunately. And they have the energy advantage. I was able to get back shield parity, but here, they actually do a beautiful combo play. They saved a move on the 1 HP Ferrothorn. They sniped down with the Power Whip. I can farm down the Ferrothorn, but yeah. Unfortunately, if you see a team that has two grass types that both resist Charm, you're probably not going to win that game, as we see here. Unfortunately, I do take my first loss. I'm greeted with a familiar lead in the next match, Shadow Kwak versus Malamar. And that's Psywave animation. Oh my goodness. Psywave was so bad last season that no one used it, so I didn't really get to see this animation. But my goodness, it's like some strobe lights every time you play against it. I force a shield with the Bone Club. In comes Goodra to absorb energy. They're staying in, so I'm just going to keep farming. Opponent tries for an Aqua Tail catch onto Feraligatr. If they got that catch, that would have been a sick play, but unfortunately, I was just looking to farm up. So I'm able to land a Thunder Punch. They get the farm down, and now I have a choice. Whatever I bring in, I'm going to be shielding, and my fast move gets denied. This means that I'm going to take one Shadow Claw damage that I shouldn't have taken because the Mud Slap would have gone through. So down goes Feraligatr. They have energy on the Malamar. I aggressively switch into the Wigglytuff. My opponent barely able to hang on and fire off a charge attack. They go for the foul play there. They could have had a superpower in the back. It's going to be Clodsire. Not looking great for our friend Wigglytuff. But here's the good thing. I still have that Kanto Marowak. It's very healthy. I'm barely able to hang on and make it to the Icy Wind. If I couldn't, Swifts would have been clutch here. But I'm going to be able to take this game thanks to Shadow Kanto Marowak. Look at the Mud Slaps go. I can shield, and even a game where I ended up having a Clodsire on the Wigglytuff, this game will end in victory because Kanto Marowak's energy is insanely flexible across the board, and I'm able to take the win. We got the battle of the ground types, Shadow Kanto Marowak versus Gastrodon. Gastrodon, a lot of the time, will have Clodsire in the back. So I'm going to want to switch out of this lead eventually. I commit the shield, and I get the shield call right. That is massive to shield and earth power. I fire off the Bone Club. Bone Club will be shielded up by the Gastrodon, and I'm firing off Bone Club number 2. After this, I need to switch out. I have to preserve my Marowak for later, so I'm going to bring in the Goodra. Opponent now going to bring out a Tentacruel. Not a Pokemon that I've seen this season. I've seen some Toxapex. I haven't seen a Tentacruel yet. Thunder Punch is going to do a lot, and they're going to be able to make it to a charge attack. That's very okay. I'm going to let this go. Skull does not knock out. And here, I'm actually going to stop attacking after a little bit. It looks like lag, but that was actually an intentional choice because I wanted the farm on the Kanto Marowak. So Marowak now does have some energy. In comes the Gastrodon. Gastrodon will fire off the Body Slam. I believe I can farm down here. It is a 4-3 cycle for the Body Slam, but I miscounted. They make a move on 1 HP. Down goes Kwak, and it's clawed in the back. If I just throw my Bone Club and don't try for the farm down, that's automatically a win because a couple Mud Slaps plus a Bone Club plus an Icy Wind is game winning. But unfortunately, a terrible miscount on my part there. I thought they were on the 3 cycle. Sorry, I thought they were on the 4 cycle. They were on the 3 cycle, and that cost me the game. Oh, what an aggravating way to lose. Because if I play that well, that game is a win. Great lead in the next match as I lead Kanto Marowak into Clodsire. Opponent safe switches into Feraligatr, and I respond with the Goodra. You can bring in Wigglytuff here if you want. Either way, Wigglytuff is going to have to go down a shield as well, so I'd rather bring in the Goodra because Goodra can threaten with super effective Aqua Tails onto the Clodsire when they bring Claude back in. I'm more than happy to double shield and farm down. They gave up 1 shield, so exiting this matchup with switch advantage but down a shield, I'm very okay with. Because, look at this, I get double Aqua Tails. They can survive 2 Aqua Tails, but it's going to put this Clodsire pretty low. I'm firing off Aquatail number 2. They're unlikely to shield this just because there is a Kanto Marowak awaiting them. They don't want to take any more damage, and a Stone Edge will easily knock out here. So down goes Goodra. I can bring back in the K-Wack. It's Mandibuzz in the back. And probably the most BBML / best team of this season so far is getting RPS, the Claude Gator Mandy. Opponent just going to keep tapping their screen, but they know this game is not going to be a win. Wigglytuff gets the full farm down, and that is a good game. All in all, I had some really nice results with this team. I believe I went something like 8-2 or 8-3 across the battles that I tried with it. If Venusaur picks up in popularity, then I would say this team might struggle a little bit more, but Kanto Marowak is honestly not terrible against Venusaur. Kanto Marowak does have a slight pacing advantage, as you're going to get to the moves at the same time on its 4 cycle, but on the 3 cycle, you actually outpace as the Marowak. So overall, if Venusaur picks up, maybe not necessarily running this team, but currently, I really liked this team. A lot of teams are just forgetting that Wigglytuff is a thing. Like, you'll see a lot of teams that are ABA weak to Wigglytuff, like a Feraligatr lead Malamar in the back, or a Feraligatr lead Mandibuzz in the back, and Wigglytuff can pop off. And Goodra is just an incredibly good save switch to help set up that very powerful Kanto Marowak plus Wigglytuff core. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support guys provide is sincerely appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.